I wish I had the courage to live a life true to myself, not to the expectations of others. Bronnie Ware, from the book The Top 5 Regrets of the Dying. This one quote sums up the big lie of belonging. In our childhood, when we are children, we have to survive physically and psychologically. In order to survive, we have to fit in. We have to ensure that our caregivers take care of us. Hence, as children, we will do whatever it takes to be liked, loved, accepted, approved of, fit in. These are all words that express the need to belong. And it's valid. Yet at what cost? As we grow up, as we let go of needing to fit into the survival mechanism, and once we can take care of ourselves, we move into phase 2 of our lives. There is that moment where we realize there is a problem. And the problem is usually found maybe in our 20s or 30s, or it's often called the midlife crisis. At that point, we recognize I feel hollow on the inside. I feel empty. I don't feel fulfilled. Something is missing. We may even ask the question, who am I? And that is because we've arrived at a crossroads. The crossroads between the need to belong and the need to be ourselves. There is a battle between the need to belong and the longing to be ourselves. And at that point, there is a crisis. Because now we are conditioned to just fit in. We may be adults, but we're petrified of being abandoned by society. Our ego, our identity tells us that we will not survive psychologically if we are not approved of by people. So therefore, at this point, we realize we may belong, but it comes at an expense of having sacrificed our true self. Now at this point, there is a decision to be made. Do we go against our fearful conditioning that is scared to step out of line? Or do we listen to the muse within? Because there is an innate intelligence within us that knows who we truly are. And it wants to unfold. Carl Jung called it the path of individuation. The path of individuation is the path of the individual, where we have to walk alone. And at that point, as I said, we make a decision. Now, hopefully, if you have the courage, you start to recognize that the need to belong, it's not what it's made out to be. It's not fulfilling. We've all had the experience where we're sitting with our families and something is gnawing at us on the inside. Something just doesn't feel right. And that's because they don't even know who we truly are. We don't even know who we truly are. Yet, there are those that will now decide enough is enough. They will now recognize the illusion that they've been living, which is dysfunctional belonging, and they will now decide to walk the path of their truth. Now, this is where we move into phase 3, if we're lucky. Or not if we're lucky, if we decide to have the courage to step into phase 3. If not, we shall return back to hibernation, stage 1. And there will be an oscillation between stage 1 and stage 2 throughout our lives. But maybe the bear will wake up and recognize the hibernation period is over. Phase 3 is about walking that path of individuation, listening to that inner voice, to that intelligence. We all have this intelligence. The seed that becomes the oak tree has the intelligence within it. And as we decide to walk, something happens. There is a constant battle. And that battle involves having to let go of the fear that we won't belong. And as we let that go, there is the spreading of the wings, where we take steps that are intuitively true for us. There may be no guarantee at the end of the path, but at least we will discover the truth of who we are. And that is the greatest blessing that we can bestow upon our own lives. So the biggest lie of belonging is that belonging is the end all. It will meet our needs and that it will give us the connection that we long for. But at what expense? At the end of the journey, as you have evolved through stage 3, you will start to recognize, hopefully, as you become true to you, as you end up creating a life that's true to you, it's authentic to you, your community will find you without you having to pretend to fit in, without having to sacrifice who you truly are. And now, that is where you've gone from existing in a cult to a community. A cult is an agreement that we shall all believe the same things. A community is where individuals are celebrated for their gifts and talents, including their wounding, acceptance of their wounding, and therefore the individual can contribute significantly to the greater good, to the whole. But if we're all the same, the community suffers. So this is the path of individuation, where we have now walked from the need to belong to the longing to be you. I'll leave you with the quote by Joe Hudson, a master coach, who said, "If you are not yourself, the life you create is not yours to live." My name is Vineet, and I'm a guide and a teacher to people, supporting people to let go of the need to belong and to step into a state of self-acceptance where you can start honoring the longing from within and express and create an authentic life. Thank you. Over and out.